celebrated our 70th anniversary at WRDW this week with a calling contest that continues at 6 o'clock. We heard incredible stories, and now we're celebrating a team that saves lives.
Radar is something that has been used on television broadcasts since the 1960s and has helped save countless lives. Here's a look back on how radar has changed on News 12 over the years.
Doppler radar was used in the early years, which would show basic radar and velocity. Doppler radar was a breakthrough at the time and a critical tool used on television from the 60s through the 90s.
Lightning and gusty winds and some very heavy rain. Take a look at it on the satellite and the radar combined, a cluster of storms working through the area.
Velocity scans gave meteorologists the ability to detect rotating thunderstorms and severe winds, allowing warnings to be issued ahead of the storm. It was not until the early 2000s we would get dual pole radar.
We've got some showers weakening up across parts of eastern South Carolina. It's going to be a relatively dry night here across the CSRA.
Dual pole radar is what we currently use today. The dual in the name comes from the horizontally and vertically polarized radar beam. Having a horizontal and vertical scan gave us the new ability to measure the size and shape of objects in the sky and effectively see a tornadic debris signature. Dual pole also improved locating hail in thunderstorms and the size of hailstones.
The worst of this storm, so that's your hail core.
We recently also gained access to a new X-band radar in February 2023. This radar is located on top of the Harlem Water Tower in Columbia County and is much smaller than the traditional S-band radars from the National Weather Service. Even though it looks small, it still has dual pole capabilities and helps fill a radar gap in the central and northern CSRA.
And that's the benefits of having this lower scan. We get a better idea of what's happening a little bit closer down towards the surface.
This new radar site gives us access to the lowest scans of storms as they approach our most populated areas.
We have been able to get a better look at what appears to be a hook-like structure with this storm, which is a classic indication of the potential for some rotation.
It's just crazy to see how things have changed over the years. And I think one prime example of how radar has changed is we saw that with Bamberg with that tornado that happened not too long ago as well.
Yeah, and then a year before that, Riley, you were able to utilize that technology and tell people to get to a safe place before you would have been able to say that before.
Oh yeah, radar's definitely come a long way over the decades, and it definitely helps save lives. It gives us that lead time to help give people that time to prepare for storms heading their way, and definitely a tool we use a lot here around these parts. And I have to mention that unfortunately you didn't get to see former Chief Meteorologist Bob Smith in that segment. We unfortunately just couldn't find a lot of clips of him in front of a radar. We had a lot of clips of him in the studio, but I wanted to make sure Bob does get some love. He obviously was a longtime chief with our station, and I wish we could have found some good clips of him tracking those storms for us. But we do